Ooh, isn't that pretty? Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, East Coast. Good morning, West Coast. Isn't that pretty? That's about all we get of the fall season. Oh, I love the fall colors. We just don't get to see that many in California. Between the drought and the fires, I guess it burns up everything. Good morning. Good morning, West Coast. How are you? A little chilly for us, but we won't complain. I think it was 45 last night. Heck, I think it's like 49 or 50 right now. Jenenne Macklin here, transformational speaker, wealth guide, and catalyst. You can find me at www.jenennemacklin.com. That's my website. And I am a entrepreneur, small business owner who is on a mission to empower women to make peace with money so you can make room for wealth. We can't get to wealth. We can't get to the wealth plan. We can't get to living, not just living a legacy or creating a legacy, but living a legacy until we make peace with money. But today is Friday, freedom, and there's so much going on. I know there's so much going on. I actually looked at the news last night. I think I actually looked at Cuomo. I didn't look at the news. I just looked at Cuomo for a minute. And yeah, I can't listen to it a lot because it's just this battering about, the going out person. And it's just not necessary for me. But it was interesting to hear what they were saying. And so with this new law, this new case that's being taken to court and what that might mean and all that kind of stuff, I think it's all just about creating a distraction because he's done that the whole 5 or 6 years he's been there. So the biggest freedom I have for you today that I would suggest is, how do you create your own freedom? How do you create your freedom from the chaos, from the worry, from the concern, from the frustration? How do you create your freedom? What are the things that you do that help you to feel safe? What are the things that you do that help you feel secure? What are the things that you do that anchor you in a sense of freedom, where you don't feel like you're stuck, you're locked down, you can't make things happen? Because one of the things I do know is that for some of you, depending on your circumstances, and I don't know because I don't get a lot of response from you guys back on the replays or anything, but this would certainly be a time for you to begin to look at, how do you generate income and money for yourself? What can you do from home that's going to create a little bit more flow, a little bit more comfort, or a little bit more peace for you? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Hi, Beverly Taylor. How are you? And where are you coming in from? What does that look like? And what does that feel like for you? I'm painting a room in my house. It's been sitting there for at least 2 years saying it was going to be painted. And so we've started that process to move things out, release some things, give those things away to the homeless shelters. So that takes your mind off of all the other stuff that's going on. It takes your mind off of everything that seems to be bombarding you or bombarding us with the possibilities. Oh, this could happen. Oh, that could happen. And here's the thing. What we focus on is truly what can happen for us in our lives. So part of our freedom is to be conscious about where you're going to put your attention and where you're going to give your attention to. I looked at Cuomo last night, but I looked at him from a very, analytical position. I don't look at him to react. I don't look at the news to react, really. I look at the news to analyze. What's the truth? What are they really saying? What are they not saying? And then I turn it off and go do something else. So, coming up that hill. I haven't done this in a minute. So what is it for you that gives you a sense of freedom, that gives you a sense of security, that gives you a sense of wholeness? How do you get that? What do you do to create that for yourself? It won't come from out there. So most of the time, you see me in the morning. I'm walking. I'm in nature. I anchor my freedom in what's unchanging. So what do you anchor your freedom in? It's not your job, not your family. It's really not anything outside of you. And when you know that, then what's happening out here in the world won't impact you so hard. It won't send you to fear and anxiety and worry, which is what it wants to do. It wants us in fear and worry, thinking we can't do something. Oh my God, we're in trouble, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. However, when we are really to anchor and define our freedom for ourselves, anchor yourself in what keeps you whole. Anchor yourself in what's unchanging. Because see, the world and the landscape is changing. We went to the Industrial Revolution, and then we went to, I want to say, the automated revolution, and then we hit technology, and now we're going to 5G. So that's part of what's happening now. We're shifting. We're going into 5G, and what that means and what that looks like, I'm not 100% sure. So things out here are always changing. It's always like this. You know, the earth is always spinning, but it just goes so slow, we don't pay attention to it. So how do you anchor yourself in what is unwavering and unchanging so that you can stay free? Free from the distraction, free from the worry, free from the fear, free from the oh my God, free from the anxiety. Because for some of you, I'm sure you're having to make some critical decisions right now in your life. If you had money in your savings, if you valued a savings, if you valued having an emergency fund, you may be okay. If you're able to keep working, you may be okay. But some of you may not be in that position. So you have to look at what's going to free you up to make some of the highest and most significant choices in your life and for your family. But where in all of that can you anchor yourself in that which is unchanging? So the first question becomes, well, what's unchanging? What doesn't change? What stays the same? No matter what, no matter what's going on, what stays the same? What doesn't fluctuate up and down? What isn't impacted by what the president does or doesn't do? What's unchanging? What can you identify in your life that's unchanging? And how do you connect yourself to that? It's like, how do you connect your caboose to that? And then stay connected to it no matter what. Because you have to get to a point, every time I say no matter what, I think of my first coach, Lisa Nichols. You have to get to a point where you can ride this wave of life. Because that's what we're doing right now. We're riding the wave. There's one more lawsuit I think that, you know, the going out person is trying to pull. And it would seem like there's hundreds of people who are supporting him. We all know they're all scared. We know they've been paid off. We know he's a tyrant and they're scared. So that's the bed that they're sleeping in, because that's what they created, supporting him. I saw a book in the bookstore the other day. It said how the Republican Party became a business. And that's ultimately what's happening. And that's going to happen. That's nothing new. But what is important is to define what will sustain you. What is unchanging? What can you count on every single day? That's for your highest good. And then anchor and connect yourself to that. So what does that look like for you? You know I'm out here because what it looks like for me is nature. Now here's the thing though. Nature's constantly changing, right? Those beautiful leaves I showed you earlier. Let's see, we're in December. 4 months from now, they'll be changing again. So what is constant? And for me, although I'm out of it right now because I haven't exercised except for once this week, it's breath. It's air. The air is unchanging. It's always present. Your heartbeat is always present. It's always there. The sky is always there. It's always present. Oh, those are pretty. Morning. What? The sky. What else is unchanging? No matter what. Even, the sun. No matter what happens. Now, we may not see the sun every day, but we know it's up there. The sky may not be, where is that? I had a patch of blue somewhere. The clouds are moving so fast. There it is. The sky may not always be blue, but we know it's there. There may not always be flowers pushing up from the soil, but we know it's always rich to produce, to sprout, and to grow. So what I want you to do is define for yourself what's unchanging. Because if you ride this roller coaster with all the politics and the race war and the changes that are happening so quickly, you will just be sad, depressed, tired, frustrated, mad, angry, and anxious probably. But when you can hold yourself to like that blue patch that's behind me, in spite of all those clouds, now the clouds could cover all that up and you think, oh, we don't have a sky today. But we never think that. We always know there's a sky. We always know there's an earth. We always know that there's air, even though parts of it may be contaminated right now. We always know there's some things that are unchanging. And that's where you're going to find your freedom. You're not going to find it looking at everything on the news and thinking if you get all the answers and you figure out everything. No, you're not going to find it in judgment of people who wear their masks or don't wear their masks. You're not going to find it even in the sadness of what we see, how we're treating each other. I read something the other day in Ohio where this man intentionally found this woman, followed her, and shot her and killed her, a black woman. And he said he was teaching her a lesson. So we're not going to find it in those kind of places. We're not going to find it there. We're going to find it in something that is unchanging, unwavering, that's ever present, all the time present, that's moving through every single thing on this planet. And we want to get that and hold on to it tighter than we've ever held on to it before. What is unchanging? But you have to define that for yourself. You have to be willing to look in your life and see what that is. Families change. Holidays obviously are changing. Rules are changing as it relates to, travel. Shoot, I don't know when I'm going to get on the plane again or when I'm going to start speaking on the road again. The vaccines are changing. The rules are continuously changing. But there's that aspect of life that remains the same, that doesn't change no matter what. And when we can anchor ourselves in that, that's why I walk every morning. That's why I'm in nature every morning. That's why I start my mornings around 6 o'clock in meditation and prayer. Anchor yourself to what's unchanging. Think of it, if you could take the energy of you, which you can do, and imagine that you had a cord like from your spinal cord. And that cord went from you all the way down to the center of the earth. And then no matter what happens up here at the top of the earth, you stay anchored to that core, from that cord down to earth. Unchanging, unwavering. You don't get caught up in, oh my God, this is going to happen next. Oh my God, this is going to happen next. Because that's the way life has been almost since last March. And we are obviously heading into a new year and we're still in it. It's clear we won't be out of this till maybe the beginning. We'll see a glimmer in March because we got to get past all the people who are going to intentionally go ahead and travel. That's going to bring back a whole lot. We'll have to get past that. So then maybe June. So as this is still continuing to play out, and as they continue to feel the fun for this person to resist leaving because he needs to leave, that's always going to be going on. And it will toss you from here to there, up and down. You'll be upset one moment. You'll be crying another moment. You'll be in fear another moment. You'll be in worry another moment. I understand being in fear and worry because of the circumstances you may be in with your home and your family and finances. But to be in fear and worry about what's happening out here and to give that your power, it will drain you. It will wear you down. It will wear you out. So anchor yourself in that which is unchanging. Now you have to find that for you. I've defined it for me and shared it with you. It's the sky that's always up there. It's the sun that's always shining, even though we don't see it. It's the moon that circles around that we know that's always there, whether it's a full moon, half moon, quarter moon, the earth. Anchor yourself so that you can stand firm in the midst of the storm. You're not being tossed to and fro like you're on some roller coaster ride at Magic Mountain. Because it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. I'm just telling you the truth. It is. You cannot not think that. And see, prepare yourself. I'm preparing me. Prepare you. It's going to get worse before it gets better because people are going to travel in the next 2 weeks. They're going to get tests right now. In 3 days, they'll get a test that says they're negative. But by the time they get to the plane, by the time they get on the plane, or they get to the next stop, they could be positive. They could be asymptomatic. So it's going to get bumpy. It's like when you're on the flight, you hit turbulence and then it smooths out. But before it gets more bumpier than it already has been, for this Friday, for your freedom, anchor yourself in what's unchanging, however you define that. Anchor yourself in that. I'm not concerned about the name of your God. Anchor yourself in it. The universe, anchor yourself in it. So you say, Jenenne, how do I do that? Because I realize you may think, well, how do you do that, huh? But one of the first things is it comes from within you. It comes from inside of you. See, the reason why I don't look at TV is TV's whole ploy is to pull you out of yourself into the world and live by the world's standards, the world's thoughts, the world's fears, the world's worries. And then it wants to tell you how to solve them. Go get this pill, go take this medicine, go do this, and this. And then it wants to tell you what to do. See, so when you're out there looking at what the world is saying, it wants to dictate your whole entire life and tell you what to do based on how it's going to benefit the world, in case you didn't know. Not necessarily benefit you. How's it going to benefit you to take medicine and you're sick and you're really sick? So first of all, it's not out there. It's not out there. I'm so critical in looking at TV. Every time I'm looking, I'm like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to sell? What manipulation are you doing? That's the way I look at TV, because I know it's not some free kind of service that they're providing us. It is the biggest marketing and advertising machine on the planet. But when you go to inside here, when you anchor yourself in what's unchanging, that ocean goes in and out, in and out. Can you anchor yourself in that? That's pretty big. That's pretty deep. That's pretty vast. That sky up there changes colors, gets clouds. It doesn't have clouds over the top of it, but the sky itself, it stays put. No matter what the politicians do, no matter what the Republicans do, no matter what the military does, it's not impacted by any of those things. So anchor yourself for your freedom in what is not impacted by anything externally. Then you can at least have yourself solid. You can stand solid. So like when there's something happening, you won't be doing anything. You'll roll with it, but you won't be thrown all the way off your center. You'll be able to still stay in your center. So now once you anchor yourself, I realize some of you may be having some really difficult times. I figure if you're on Facebook, maybe not, but I don't want to assume anything. You may not have enough money as you had planned, because for whatever reason. You may not have built up the, what do you call it? You haven't built up that muscle that can stand through difficult times like this. You may not have the resources. You may not have the family or the friends. It's just me and my son, basically. And then luckily I have some close friends around me. You may not have the family or the friends. So you may feel like you don't have the support. You may not have the money. You may be getting in the food lines to get the food. And please do get in the food lines. Get in the food lines, the clothes lines. Get wherever you need to get to take care of yourself and your family. And don't hang your head down. You stand up tall, because this is just the circumstances we're in. I can remember growing up, my mom was in somebody's line and she brought home a big old chunk of cheese. I don't eat cheese, but this big old thing of cheese and some butter. So I have to figure at some point my mommy or my family was in the food line. Don't be ashamed. Don't be concerned. Don't be worried. Baby girl, baby boy, get what you need to take care of you and support your family. But when I'm talking about your Friday freedom and for you to anchor yourself in that which is unchanging, this is separate from that. This is what keeps you afloat in the midst of the storm. This is what gives you the strength to figure out the plan to help take care of you and your family. This is what you need to do to stay anchored so that you're not tossed to and fro by life's changes. I love that James says he knew stuff wasn't right. What do you mean right? When I was told the sky is the limit and thought, but there are people in space. You're right. No, the sky is not the limit. The universe is limitless and boundless. So when we can anchor ourselves in what doesn't change, it helps us to feel stronger. It helps us to know that in spite of all this that's going on like this, we get to stand right here and let it go on around us. See, it can turn you like this, or you can stand strong in your freedom, in what is unchanging, and let the world do this. See, that's what I do. That's why once I hit spectrum 1, and then early in the morning I may hit Good Morning America before it's Good Morning America, just to see what they're saying, whatever, and then I'm done. Anything else on my TV, it's gonna be, oh God. My cousins got me caught up in looking at what is it, Lifetime Christmas? Oh my God. And what else is it? Someone else has a lot of Christmas shows. Lifetime. I don't know if it's BET or somebody. So I looked at every Christmas show there is. I put on my Facebook personal page, what's your favorite movie? I got so many movies from so many people. So that's what I focus on. I focus on what gives me joy, what makes me laugh, what keeps me at a vibration. So I'm not down here with, oh my God, what am I going to do? How are we going to make this happen? What's going to happen in the world? Are all the people out here going to kill all the black people? Are people killing black women? I will not give in to that. If I'm going to be killed, then I'm going to get killed. Yeah, the Hallmark Channel. I looked at, oh my God, I looked at all those. And then finally, I just turned it off last night. I said, forget it. I really want to get rid of TV because I don't look at it. I really look at Netflix, some of the other channels, way more. But I hope you understand this. There's a way you can live through this process we're going through. And it's important for you to claim your freedom. And how you claim it is freedom from all the chaos out there and anchor yourself in what's unchanging. And as long as I've been on this planet, which is probably more years than many of you, the sky has always been there. The moon has always been there. Nature has been unwavering in her process. No matter what we do, she does what she's going to do no matter what. And we call her because she's a creative energy. No offense to men. The earth, the sky, the sun, the moon have always been there. The trees, I walk sometimes and I look at the trees. I'm like, wow, those are 3 different trees. They all leaning on each other, growing into each other, but they're not fighting. They're not trying to say, get out of my way. They just keep on doing what they're doing. So as you anchor yourself in what's unchanging, it'll cut down any anxiety, or at least some of it. It'll cut down your worry. And then it'll give you more energy to plan what you do need to plan for your family. Because we got a plan. Maybe on Monday I'll talk about a plan. What is your plan? You know, the kids aren't going back to school. What is your plan? You're absolutely right. James said there's a reason it's called Mother Nature. And she nurtures me. And she natures me. She natures and nurtures me. And I love it all the time. But what is it that you're going to need to keep your head up? Okay, to keep your head up. And there's some people, when I say you don't have money, it's not that you didn't do the things that you knew you were supposed to do with your money. It's from the very beginning you didn't have enough. The prices of living on this planet are just becoming astronomical. And I know we're capitalists and capitalism, but it's like we got to stop at some point. It is becoming too difficult to live here. You know, kids are moving back home with their parents because they can barely get out on their own, even after they finish degrees. Their families, someone was saying, well, why are poor people still poor? Why don't they take care of their cars and their house? Do you have time when you're working 80 hours a week to worry about your lawn? See, I can do my lawn. My house and everything looks great. I don't work 80 hours a week. So it's so many different factors that's impacting this, but how we can be more loving, more caring with each other is to recognize that there is that which is unchangeable, and that which is unchanging is in each and every one of us. Now, what about that? It's in each and every one of us. And if we were willing to tap into it, if we're willing to connect to it, if we're willing to trust it, if we're willing to believe it, and allow it to be that what governs our life, we can stay in freedom in the midst of the storm. Because the freedom's going to happen in your thinking. The freedom's going to happen in your thinking, what you think, what you feel, what you decide, how much you take responsibility for your life. Why are you coming over here? How much are you taking responsibility for the decisions that you're making? How much are you taking responsibility for the thoughts that you're thinking? That's freedom. You can free yourself up by thinking different thoughts. You can free yourself up by thinking different thoughts. You know how that is. Like before I started my walk, I had this song. It was called You Got It. It was jamming. I jammed up and down my hill, jammed down my hill, exercised, did it all, no problem at all. So you can shift yourself and your own energy when you learn about you. So don't give all your attention to the world. Recognize and anchor yourself. Just like the boats drop their anchors. Drop your anchor in the universe. I like that one. Do that. Drop your anchor in the universe. Hook it onto the universe. Hook it onto that which is unchanging and let it stay there. Then Create the habits. If it's meditation, if it's going out for a walk and exercise, if it's reading something that inspires you, if it's looking at the holiday movies because they bring you joy and remind you that there's something bigger, that in the midst of the storm, there's always a solution. In the midst of the storm, there's always an answer. In the midst of the storm, there's always an action that you can take. In the midst of the storm, you have power, then that's what you do. And that's your Friday freedom. Have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay dry. We're cold, but I'm sure the East Coast is more cold. Stay close to your families, stay close to your loved ones, but you have freedom. Claim it, live from it, and know it. Don't let the TV tell you about your freedom. Don't let nobody else tell you about your freedom. It's right there within you, because see, here's the secret. We live in a oneness. I was listening to Cuomo or somewhere, they're like, what are we going to do about the divide? What are we going to do about the divide? I'm like, there's no divide. The division is the lie. That's the whole thing that's creating the problem, is we think we're all divided and separate from each other. The truth is oneness. And that's why I keep telling you to anchor yourself in that which is unchanging, because that's part of the oneness. We don't get up in the morning and say, oh my God, we don't have a sky today. We get up knowing we got that sky up there, looking all good and pretty. Let me show it to you right quick. Look at that, beautiful sky. See, we don't get up and, oh, wow, do we have a sky today? No, we don't ever think that. So why are you thinking that about anything else in your life or for yourself? Just like you know we have a sky, you know we have Mother Nature, you know we have the universe, you know we have moons, well, you know we have stars, then know in that knowingness that you are connected to that oneness, and you are connected to that which is unchanging, because there's a part of that out there that's inside of you. Take good care. Hey, Tiffany, thank you. My obedience, girl, is more than ocean. I have to tell you. I keep saying to myself, okay, you started this in March. When are you going to stop? And I keep saying, okay, are you doing it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week? But it seems like more regularly, I'm getting more on track to do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. We'll see. Anyway, now here, I'll come back to you about the Christmas stuff, but you're free. This is what will support you in being free. This is the next thing that will support you being free. Anchor yourself in what's unchanging, so you're not tossed to and fro on this crazy roller coaster of transformation and evolution that's happening on the planet, and you'll be better. I'm not saying you'll be perfect. I'm not saying you won't have any problems. I'm not saying you won't have to figure things out. I'm just saying you won't be in anxiety, fear, frustration, and worry. And for me, when I'm not in anxiety, fear, frustration, and worry, I'm good. And I want that same for you. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.